Welcome to the Fight Night Daily Podcast. I'm Gareth Davis with Duke McKenzie and Spencer Oliver here at the weigh-ins for Joe Joyce versus Derek Chisora. They're about to weigh in just behind us here at the Intercontinental here at Greenwich, the O2 Arena, Docklands of course. They go into a big fight tomorrow night. We're just about to witness them come on stage. We've just had Dennis McCan and Baluta. Gents, it's a really big fight this, between two guys we weren't expecting to fight each other, but now we're here. It's a pretty big showdown.
Listen, it's a huge fight. I think for Joe Joyce, you go back a year or so, before them back-to-back losses to Zhang Zhang, he was talked about the man being the man to topple Tyson Fury. 2 fights later, you find himself at this stage, a comeback fight against Cash Ali, didn't look particularly good. And he really needs a good victory and make a statement here, really, against Derek Chisora to put his name right back up there. For Derek Chisora, it's a no lose fight for Derek because he's been there, seen and done it.
Well, let's get it right. Derek Chisora is set up to lose, isn't he? Let's get that right. This is all about Joe Joyce coming out and hopefully looking good and projecting himself back onto the world scene.
Well, Derek Chisora is on his way out behind us now. Like you say, this is all about what Joe Joyce genuinely has left against a guy who's capable of at least taking him for half of the 12 rounds. I mean, I do think Joe Joyce needs the optics of a viral knockout or a powerful victory in this fight.
He needs to get a big win, doesn't he? He needs to get a big win. He's got to look good doing it. That's the most important thing. If he wants to project himself into the big league, back to fighting the likes of Joshua or Fury or whoever's out there, Gerard Anderson, the American also, he's out there knocking on the door for the World Championship fight, then he's got to look good doing it.
I think stylistically, Derek Chisora is the guy that should make Joe Joyce look good, because Joe, as we know, he's sort of one-dimensional, likes to march forward, high work rate, high output, but he likes a fighter to stand in front of him, and I think that's where he gets success. Last time out against Cash Ali, Cash was running around and making things difficult for him. Derek Chisora has made no secret of saying, first round, bell rings, we're meeting head-on, war in the centre of the ring. That will suit Joe Joyce.
Yeah, Derek doesn't know anything else. He's never a guy that's fought off the back foot. I mean, people have been calling for his retirement for a very long time. He looks in good shape. He really does look in decent shape.
246 pounds. If that's the case, that's about 17.5, 17.6. That's very low.
Chisora does look in remarkably good shape. I had a good look at him yesterday at the pre-fight press conference. His face is chiselled. He's not got a belly on him. He looked really...
His hat's too small.
His hat's too small, but we know that.
His hat would fit me.
But, on a more sort of serious note, I think Chisora, he knows he's walking the plank for the final time, and I think we're going to get an absolute unbelievable effort from him.
Yeah.
But Joe Joyce will meet him, and they're going to go at it in the middle of that ring, and I just hope nobody gets seriously hurt.
Do we think Joe Joyce's hand... I know you and I had our little contretemps yesterday. Seem to be having a lot of rows this week, but Derek Chisora not really managing to get under the skin of Joe Joyce.
No, I don't think that they're them sort of characters. I think that Joe Joyce, Derek Chisora, they know what it is. It is what it says on the tin with them two. They're not going to get inside each other's heads. They both know exactly what they're going into. They both know what's on the line right here. For Derek Chisora, as Duke pointed out there, 10th time boxing here at the O2, and he said this will be the final time of boxing here, with no secret of wrapping up his career at 50 fights. This is fight number 48, and he looks at it and he said, listen, he's very emotional going into this one, more emotional than I've ever seen a Duke. Is that a good or a bad thing?
For Derek Chisora, it's a bad thing, because that's not Derek Chisora. Chisora's all about one thing, and that's bringing the pain to the fight. And that's what he likes.
Let's just turn around for a moment while the two guys face off, gents. Did I hear Joe Joyce 282? It can't be. Must have been 252, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the weights were that were called there. But I must say, Joe Joyce looks much, much bigger than Derek Chisora. And here we go, going face to face, nose to nose, just as we expected. Duke, we did say the unpredictability of Derek Chisora. We do not know what's going to happen at these weigh-ins. And so far, so good.
A little bit of cap dismantlement from Joe Joyce there over Derek Chisora, by the way, pushing his cap back as if to say...
He did say that to us yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah.
That Joe Joyce did say to us that when he got to the weigh-in, he would start playing a few mind games with Derek Chisora and pushing off his cap, just to see how he responds, see if he gets the usual Derek Chisora outburst. But so far, so good. Just looking at him now, Chisora's being quite measured and quite controlled.
Yeah.
Security poised over there, by the way, at the moment, as our cameras have panned on to them weighing off. No handshake by the look of it either. I think handshakes they've talked about are going to happen afterwards. Two cult figures in British boxing here.
Absolutely. Listen, I think that Derek Chisora has been a great ambassador for the sport of British boxing. You know, he's been a great character outside of the ring. He's delivered inside the ring. Boxed the who's who of heavyweight boxing, Derek Chisora. Yes, he's lost 13 contests, but he always gives value for money. That's why people love him.
Absolutely. Come on, we're going to have some other guests on the show. Let's do our picks. I'm going Joe Joyce, and what I've seen this week and what I've seen of Derek. Joe Joyce stoppage inside 8 rounds.
Yeah, I think inside 6 on a personal level. I just think he's more heavy-handed and the fresher of the two.
And I'm with you too. I think that Joe Joyce does get the job done and possibly inside the distance, but I think that Derek Chisora is an emotional character and he'll go out on his shield as he always does. I think it could be a late stoppage for Joe Joyce.
Very interesting. So we're all going Joe Joyce. As people begin to file out here, we've just got to step back a little bit. We're being directed perfectly by Romario here, one of our team. Dennis McCan against Jon Baluta, rematch of their fight from a year ago. It was obviously a drawn contest after a head cut, a collision of heads. I think people have said, why does he need to take this fight again to prove himself? But I like this from Dennis McCan. Baluta's having his 7th fight in a row here in the UK. A lot to play for in this European, I think it's a European super bantamweight.
My old title, actually.
Your old title,
absolutely.
indeed.
Yeah, spoke to Dennis earlier on, and he said, "Listen, I have to go over old ground. You know, if I want to right the wrongs of the last contest. That, you know, it was a tough fight for Dennis. He got wrapped up in the emotions at the York Hall, big crowd there, and tactically, I think he got it a little bit wrong. Baluta's a very quick counter puncher, very explosive, and he was catching Dennis, and Dennis got drawn into a fight. You know, and I think the 7th round he was hurt quite badly, and he picked up that cut, and that was sort of like a turning point, really. Baluta really grew off that juke, but it was a good experience and a good learning curve for someone like Dennis McCan, because I think the kid is a potential superstar in the making, and probably the right move going in against Baluta again, because we find out exactly how good Dennis is now. Can he make those adjustments? Has he got that adaptability?
I think he's got that sort of he's got that in him where he's going to have to adapt. If he's going to be a world class or he's going to be a world class performer, you've got to be able to adapt. So if you're going into return against the guy that's giving you life and death, you have to adapt to get the same result. But I do think he'll do a job on this kid. You know, I don't think it'll stop him, but it's going to be an exciting fight for as long as it does go.
It's supposed to be a very good union going on between Joe McNally as well, and he's very happy up in Liverpool, Dennis McCan. I think he'll come out fast, hard, and he'll be looking for the stoppage in this fight.
Oh, absolutely.
He won't be looking for a points victory.
What he's got to be careful of is walking onto a shot.
Yes, because of the counters of Baluta.
Because of the counter shots. He's got to be very, very careful, because this kid can fight. Yeah. And he might just draw him in and he could walk onto one. So he's got to approach this with an extreme caution.
Baluta's super confident going into this one as well. He said, listen, don't worry about what he's going to do in this fight. Worry about what I'm going to do. Do you think I can't adapt? Do you think that's all I can do? Baluta's a very, very good fighter, and you've got to respect Dennis McCan for going into it. A lot on the line. EBU title, you know, that puts him up there in the top 10 of all the governing bodies. So it's a huge step for Dennis McCan, but a risky one.
I just want to throw some other fights here. Nazim Hamed is here today, by the way. Saw him in the corridors. His son, Adam Hamed, having his 2nd pro fight against Georgi Velishov, 4-21-1. He might have had 26 fights, but he's lost 21 of them. You can't expect Adam to be losing this fight tomorrow night.
Look, Adam had no amateur experience. You know, he's gone straight into the pro ranks. We was there actually for his debut, weren't we? Out in Poland when Daniel Dubois lost to Alexander Usyk. It was a 1-round blowaway for him out there. And this is all about the development, Duke. And I think these sort of opponents, they're put in front of guys like Adam Hamed really to develop them as fighters.
They're trying to build him up, get his confidence up, get his reputation up. It's hard to follow in the footsteps of a much favoured, fancy world champion like his dad in Nazim Hamed. However, as Nazim Hamid's already stated, his son's got to walk his own line. He's got to find himself. But this is a good fight for him where he can actually learn and develop.
Well, let's talk about boxers and dads. Moses Itauma's father joins us. We haven't really interviewed him properly before on talkSPORT. You are responsible for a man we're calling the takeover at the moment. How do you keep his feet on the ground?
It's very hard because he's very, very poised, opinionated, and when he makes up his mind, he said, Dad, don't try to stop me. I'm going to do this. So that is young man. He has a very strong mind to do what he wants to do.
I mean, Moses, for us, I mean, we've talked about him being the next kid to take the baton and, you know, lead the heavyweight division, you know, not just in Britain, but globally. But he shows maturity beyond his years for a young man of only 19 years of age.
He's always been like that. 9
fights, 9 wins, 7 KOs. I mean, the kid shows incredible maturity.
Moses has always been a very resilient, tough young man. And he never wanted to get into boxing. But when Caro won the Olympic gold medal and came back, he said, Dad, Caro is my brother, it's the same blood. I can make it too. So I have made up my mind, I want to make it. So who am I to stop? Rather than, I told my wife, I said, look, we're going to support this young man because he knows what he wants to do.
Well, look, listen, best of luck tomorrow night against Marius Vac. We hope he makes a statement against a wizened old pro, 44 years old, 49th fight I think he's having. Moses having his 10th fight. Well, I've told him, I've given him instructions, go out there, you've got to stop him inside 5.
Moses said whatever is put in front of him, when we get to the bridge, we should cross it.
Fair enough. Fair enough, that's great, wise advice. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope the first of many.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, thank
Well
you.
done.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, Duke, listen.
I like this young kid.
I like the
Moses.
Itauma family.
Yeah, he's very mature for his age.
Yeah.
You know, and he's not trying to be anything that he's not. He's very, very measured in the way that he talks. He's not getting drawn into the hype. There's a lot of hype surrounding about this kid. Everybody talking about, you know, he's going to be the next great thing in world heavyweight boxing. He's not really interested in that. He just wants to take one step at a time, one fight at a time. And if he does that, we're looking at a potential champion of some description.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a 19-year-old kid. He's been in the ring and he spars the likes of Tyson Fury. He's been in there with Anthony Joshua. Reports coming from the gym that he does very, very well in those spars. You know, for a young man, he holds himself very, very well, and they've got high praise for him as well. Tyson Fury, I think, has been vocal about Moses and said, listen, this is the next kid. That's high praise.
You know, Spencer, and I know, when you're young, 19, 20 years of age, it's good to be in the gym, be sparring with decent pros, world championship pros, because that's how you cut your teeth and how you learn and how you start to develop. Just by the visualization of watching these guys, it's a very important part of your development.
Against Marius Vac, who's been there, seen it, done it, seems like he's been around forever, mate, if I'm totally honest. It feels like he's been around for absolute ever. I mean, you go back to, what is it, 2012, 2011, 2012, when he boxed Klitschko for the world title.
Yeah.
Look at, he's boxing a who's who of heavyweight boxing right now. More recently, we saw him at the York Hall, actually, against Fraser Clark. And yeah, Fraser Clark was winning every round and everything else, but he was making life difficult for Fraser. So a good opponent at this stage of his career for young Moses.
Yeah, listen, we can gauge Moses on this fight, how he deals with this fight. You know, I think it's over the 10-round duration. We haven't seen him go 10 rounds yet. We don't know how good he's going to go 10 rounds. It'd be interesting to see how he paces himself over the 10-round duration. Oh, if he gets an early blowout, that's not really going to tell us anything. We'd like to see him go a few rounds, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we have got a stacked card here, haven't we?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a super card here. You go down, you look at Sean Noakes. He's going in against another undefeated fighter as well. I like Sean Noakes, and that's going to be another great fight as well.
Yeah, like you say, the whole card is stacked of like decent fights. You know, we're going to get a whole night of complete fighting, complete boxing.
What happened to the days, mate, when we used to be able to look down the card, right? Me and Duke.
And we knew.
I mean, we go back a long way, do you know what I mean? You look down the card, go win,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But like, them days are gone now, innit?
Those days are gone.
I love boxing like that, by the way, Duke. Where now, you know, whether that's like, you know, the involvement and the investment of Saudi Arabia and the best boxing the best, and we see Eddie Hearn doing it, 50-50 fights, putting their prospects in, Frank Warren doing the same thing. You know, you look at that and you go like, it's a changing of the times, isn't it? And
Yeah,
it's only a win-win for the fans.
It is definitely a sign of the times and a changing of the guard that the top promoters are working with one another, and you're getting quality fights right down the board, from the main event right down to your 6-round, 4-round fighters.
Well, good to be joined by the knowledge, Mr. Spencer Fearon. Spence, how are you doing, my man?
How you doing? I done a fantastic call last time I was with you, Spenny, with Chris Billen-Smith and Richard Rapport. I think the energy of the two Spennies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's it like feeling left out, mate?
I feel very left out. I've got little Spencer, I've got big Spencer, so I might have to change my name to a Spencer.
No, but you don't need to though, because you got 3 world titles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
He's
yeah,
right,
you've got a
mate.
point there, yeah.
He's got a
You
good
have
point.
got a good point there, mate. Yeah.
He's got a good point. You didn't win a European, did you?
I was European flyweight champion.
Oh,
mate.
right, not
Yeah,
super bantam.
no, not super bantam.
All right.
No, but I challenged for super bantam.
Oh, it's getting calm down.
Listen,
Nah,
on a
he's
more
a
positive.
legend, mate. A boxing legend, free weight world champion. That's all.
At
needs to be
super
said.
bantamweight.
Oh,
I was super bantam. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'll give you that one, mate. Well done. Well done. But Spence, listen, what are you expecting here, mate? Joe Joyce, Derek Chisora, how does it go?
Yeah, how does it go? As much as we love Derek personally, that we got to be realistic with it, yeah?
Yeah.
And say like, you got to go for Joyce, right? But at the same time, and I like Joe, I want Derek to knock him out because Derek's more my pal than Joe's my pal. But to be realistic right now, styles make fights, and people like being playing this fight down. I think this is going to be a very, very good fight for about 4 rounds, where they're going to go give it to each other, simply because the makeup is, they don't really take a back step. And like, when you see like, imagine, Joe Joyce is slow. He's slow. I'm not going to say he's a quick. And I don't understand it because he does all that caballero. You've seen when he does that caballero, he's spinning around in the air and all the rest of it. He's doing all them kind of stuff. But he doesn't administer that when he fights, because he fights methodically. And like sometimes he throws his shots, he looks like he's slower than Nelson's column. But he's consistent, right? And his persistency grinds down guys, but we don't know where he is mentally. Because those 2 knockouts from Zhang, that's not no joke. So I know Derek's going to be banking for the overhand right, and also the body attack, because we've seen Joe get hit downstairs and hasn't really liked it. But we got to be real and think like, Joe's the fresher of the 2. So you'd think, right, you're going to go for Joe Joyce to go win and come out successful. But I'm going to be real. I want Derek Chisora to get a win. I do want him to get a win, but I have to be real.
Right, well, listen, let's see where he is at mentally, where he is at, you know, physically right now, Joe Joyce, because we've got Adam Moralee here. Adam is the manager of Joe Joyce.
Right. Come on.
That don't look like Adam Moralee. That looks like Gareth A. Davis.
I'm out.
Adam,
Yeah.
Thank you,
Spenny,
Spencer.
cheers, mate.
Thank you very much, Spencer. I've just been in the back room, by the way. The reason I disappeared, I went to get Adam Moralee. They were just doing the glove selection. It's a very important part, by the way. We don't see behind the scenes. Joe Joyce is very particular about things, and he wants to make sure that he had his fight gloves and his reserve gloves, and that they fitted perfectly. I was there watching you doing it.
Yeah.
He really did go through several pairs, didn't he?
He did. I mean, it's not necessarily about the fit. It's just Joe. If there's a little something inside the glove, he doesn't really like it. We don't want that on fight night. That's happened before, actually, and it affected Joe. So
It's interesting that, isn't he? He's a perfectionist, maybe.
just a little bit on the inside of the glove.
It happens though. You do
Yeah.
go
Doesn't
through.
fit.
Listen, no, yeah. If it doesn't fit right, you change the gloves, because it psychologically plays on your
Yeah.
mind, and it's a horrible thing when you go in there and you go, the glove don't feel right, and you
have
go
to
in,
put it on,
and the
take it off,
performance.
tape it up.
Yeah.
You put it on, you take it off, you tape it up. This can happen 2, 3, several times throughout the whole sort of process of you choosing the glove that you make. That
And
you wear.
weirdly, Adam was telling me just off camera there as we were walking back, Derek doesn't care. He just says, give me 2 pairs of gloves. It doesn't even bother him. He's the opposite.
Derek's at that stage of his career, mate, that he doesn't care. He's not that sort of character, Derek. But some people are meticulous in what they do. Like with me, when I was boxing, if them gloves didn't feel right, mate, they're getting changed. If I put a hand wrap on that took an hour to put on and it don't feel right, it's got to go. It's got to start again. Some fighters are like that because the psychological side of the sport is the biggest part.
We haven't had you on this week. How has Joe been in the build-up? He looks, feels, seems. What was he, 262 today?
280.
280. I thought it was 280.
Yeah, he did say 280.
20 stone.
He's
Happy with
280, very happy. I think sometimes you can look at weight, become a bit fixated by weight, but he's 280, very solid. I thought Cash Ali was a little bit heavier, I think, but he wasn't as solid as he
We
is
weren't
now.
happy with that performance, were we?
Weren't happy with the performance, weren't happy with the condition. And now you're getting a much stronger Joe Joyce and a much, much fitter Joe Joyce. His numbers in camp, he's been breaking numbers that he hasn't been breaking since September 2022. So, I mean, look, the strongest thing about Joe Joyce is how he is in the later rounds of a fight. And if we do get there, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're going to see what makes him elite.
Why were you taking on Derek Chisora on the roof of the O2 3 days ago, calling him a PUSSY? He was calling you a PUS. Weren't you worried that he was going to throw you off the top of the building? Or has he not got that kind of hold over you?
Listen, it was annoying. We'd all gone there. All of us had gone there to go up the top. All the cameramen had gone up. Older guys with all the equipment. Derek just 5 steps, bottled it, turned round. And then all the older guys are coming down and he's going, F you, you effers, get the F down or you're wasting my effing time. I was like, what an arrogant sod doing that. And he came down and I thought, oh,
you went nose to nose with him though.
No, but then I was just minding my own business and then he comes in with a microphone and goes, hey, pussy boy, what are you doing? I thought.
But surely that's just all mind games, right? He's just trying to get under your skin.
Yeah.
Get under.
And you know what? I actually wasn't. I was like, I gave it to him. Wasn't thinking.
He got under your skin.
He got under my skin at that moment.
Would you have fought him in that moment?
But then,
did you believe?
Choice.
No,
Right
I
choice.
shamed him into going up.
Yeah.
He was ashamed.
You did, yeah, you did, mate. But I've got to say, Adam, mate, you held yourself
did.
very well there because when you went to him, took your glass off and went, no, you're the I thought, whoa, he's rolling the dice here because I know that Derek's a very unpredictable
It was also
character.
comedy gold.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is with Derek,
Yeah,
fight
he could.
week, right? I've known him since he was 16.
Yeah.
The kid switches like you
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
believe,
yeah.
right? And when you done that, I was like, go on, Hads, go on, son,
No, I
go on,
was as well.
son.
And to be honest, Derek respected you, believe
He
it
went
or
on
not.
the top then and then he shook my
respected
hand.
you.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
turned it
Yeah.
around because that's what he done. He got inside Derek's head and was like, Derek was there because I think you surprised Derek.
Yeah.
Perhaps you can pass a little bit of that on to Joe tomorrow and that might help him out in there.
You've been around a few heavyweights for a long time now, Adam. I know you're a lawyer by trade, and
Yeah.
you've developed a love of boxing.
Yeah.
You'll become one of our figures in UK and world boxing. Tell us what you want from Joe tomorrow night.
He's got to show everyone why, after he fought Parker, he was in everyone's top 3. He was in everyone's top 3. Fury, Usyk, Joyce after that. He looked indestructible. How come you can't knock him out? He keeps coming. Then we had the Zhang fight. He can be knocked out. We've got to show the world that was a blip, not a descent. That's what we've got to show tomorrow. Statement knockout of Derek Chisora. That's what we need to see. Not many people have knocked Derek out in 47 fights. What? 2 have actually concussively knocked him out. David Hay. Dillian.
Dillian White, yeah, 11th round.
And that's it.
Manchester.
Derek is a tough competitor.
We couldn't say it any better than that. And Adam Moralee, thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Spencer Oliver, Duke McKenzie, and myself and John Rawling will be with you tomorrow night, live on talkSPORT 2. Thank you, Adam. Live on talkSPORT 2 from 7 p.m. and we go to the big shop, talkSPORT itself, at 10 p.m. tomorrow night. Big show. Can't wait to be with the boys again. It's been a great build-up, a great week so far. 2 cult figures from British heavyweight boxing, Derek Chisora and Joe Joyce. Showdown main event tomorrow night and a fantastic undercard. Gents, we're looking forward to it, yeah?
Can't wait, mate. It's a
gonna
stacked
be
card, isn't it?
It's going to be a barnstormer. So, get your Coca-Colas, get your popcorn, get in front of that TV or be there live.
No, don't get in front of your TV, mate.
No,
Get in
just
front
be
of your
there live.
radio. Listen to your
Sorry.
radio.
Be on the radio.
And remember, it's a live
YouTube.
watch-along as
YouTube.
well, so you can actually watch it on the YouTube channel while we're commentating on the night. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to hosting you tomorrow night. O2 Arena, Queensbury Promotions, Joyce versus Chisora. Out!